SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
For the most beautiful jewelry at incredible prices and the best service, shop Corinth Jewelers. We are honored and humbled to have been voted the best jewelry store in the state of Mississippi once again by Mississippi Magazine. Corinth Jewelers, for everything that sparkles.
Sports. Get ready, sports fans. It's time for Chasing Foul Balls on SuperTalk Pike County 93.5 and streaming worldwide on the SuperTalk Mississippi app and on your Amazon Alexa devices. Chasing Foul Balls, your weekly source for all the sports news and interviews important to Southwest Mississippi. Chasing Foul Balls is presented by First Bank. And now, here's your host, Robbie Hamilton.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Friday edition of Chasing Foul Balls right here on SuperTalk Pike County 93.5. Don't forget, you can listen to the program on the podcast, all the previous programs, plus this one shortly. Just go to Amazon and, or your favorite spot that you get your podcast from, and take a listen there. We would appreciate it. Guest this morning, we got a couple of good ones. Matt Wyatt, the radio host, and the color analysis for the Mississippi State football, also a photographer. And Coach Corey Schmidt, the head basketball coach, the men's basketball coach at Southwest, who plays their first playoff game of the tournament tomorrow at home. What did you say, Neil? Northeast is who they will play?
Yeah, Northeast went to Coahoma and knocked off the Coahoma Tigers 63-53 last night.
And also a reminder, next week, we'll have Davis Dean, the new head football coach at Delta State, will join us here on Chasing Foul Balls. To my left, TP himself, Richard Hay. How are you, sir?
Yes, fine, Robbie.
You last through Monday? Tuesday it was, I reckon?
Oh, yeah. I got through.
Okay.
Yeah.
You look kind of down in the dumps when I saw you first thing this morning.
Oh, well, that could just be that way.
To my right, he's not down in the dumps.
He's not.
No, he just got back from his trip to Wonderland or whatever it was. Mr. Neil Randall, how are you, sir?
I'm good, Robbie. Glad to be here with you two regal gentlemen.
Regal.
I noticed Richard is not in his overalls today.
No, he wasn't. Bangman.
Mote.
Mote? What's that?
Mote's Dairy Farm down at Progress.
Sells
the best cheesecakes ever in the world.
Bangman Mote. I like that.
Oh, Richard.
They give them away?
No, but I need to bring us one.
Yes, please.
Bring each of us one. And don't forget Randy.
Oh, I know.
And when you're my size, it's a big old billboard to get.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not a small little thing.
And that is pronounced Mote?
Mote, yeah.
Okay, I've had some of their stuff, and but I didn't know. I would have pronounced it totally
Never mind. Let's don't get you would
wrong.
We could get in trouble if we pronounced it the wrong way there.
Okay.
Let's go to work. USM Mississippi State played baseball on Tuesday over in Hattiesburg. A big crowd, big atmosphere, good baseball game. It continues to progress in baseball. I'm going to ask, in addition to the ball game, baseball probably secured itself again as the number 2 sport in the state, Richard.
Oh, no doubt, Robbie. Tuesday night was great. If you just are a college baseball fan, as which I am. I am a Mississippi State fan also, but I'm a college baseball fan first. Had everything like you would think about a regional. I mean, the stadium was packed. The crowd was energized and engaged in the game. But yes, for the state of Mississippi to host a top 10 matchup like that in state, regardless of where it's at, early in the season like that says a lot about where our teams are in this state.
Oh, I agree with Richard totally. No doubt baseball has eclipsed basketball in this state. And basketball could come back, but it's going to be an uphill battle for them right now. But and a really good ball game, 7-6 ball game, correct?
Yep.
Second thing, I usually stay out of politics, but we'll jump right in it.
Oh, my.
NIL gets a pass on state taxes by the Mississippi legislature. Lord have mercy, what are we doing? Neil, how can you give a tax break to college kids who's getting millions of dollars?
Well, I promise you, you can figure out who's behind all of that pretty quickly. And the bad thing about it is that our esteemed, knowledgeable legislature gives them the break on the taxes, and we're in the poorest state in the union, between us and Arkansas. And then on the other hand, they decide not to give the school teachers a raise. So, my goodness, let's vote for somebody else.
Yeah, I thought about that, Robbie. The optics of this are horrible. I mean, at a time when you're, as Neil just said, trying to figure out a way to move us up, we're going to be worried about everybody else competing against us in sports because everybody else is giving a tax break. Well, then we got to give a tax break. Okay, well, that's where it's all gone sideways because nobody wants to step in and give us some legislation, whether it comes from wherever, to give us some guardrails about how this thing's done because it's every day I'm amazed. I said, well, it can't get any worse than that. Well, then 2 days later, I'm like, well, boy, that's new.
Says something about your priorities.
Exactly, Neil.
Which school got the ears of the legislature first? Was it Ole Miss? They have the most to lose?
Probably, but I'm going to say Mississippi State wasn't far behind.
I would say we were, if Ole Miss is leading the way, we're in coattails right behind them.
Exactly.
Another round of the NCAA. They appealing the injunction that went for Chambliss to be the quarterback at Ole Miss. They now going to appeal it to the Mississippi Supreme Court. Richard, here we go again. Just when you think it's all over with, we don't jump right back into it.
Well, I kind of laughed when I heard that because a lot was made of the fact of who the judge was in Pittsboro, Mississippi, at the circuit.
Big city,
yeah, right. But now they think they're going to get a better deal by going to the Supreme Court of Mississippi, where instead of having one, they've got to convince 7 or 8. I think there's 9 on the Supreme Court, so they got to. How are they going to win that if they can't win?
Well, they're not going to win.
Exactly,
that.
Neil. And that's a waste of our time, their time, our time, and our money.
Well, exactly, because we're the ones supporting the NCAA. And if they lose, and they do it again and again, before you know it, the football season will be over and it will all be moot.
Probably be over before you ever get before the Supreme Court. They could probably hold it up long enough for the football season to get underway.
Well, these attorneys, they're good at getting delays.
Didn't they ask for a speed up rule? Speed up rule,
yeah.
But even a speed up rule in the court system might be a year and a half, and like you said, it's over with.
Never know, you never know. Just stay around. If you follow sports, you think you can't see everything, you're right. Park Lane football, did y'all see the new schedule? August 21st, they go to Gulf Shores, Alabama. August 28th, Jackson Prep. September the 4th, Parkview Baptist. The 11th, Silliman. The 18th, Simpson. The 25th, Copiah. October the 2nd, Dunham. October the 9th, Oak Forest. October 16th, Brookhaven. October 23rd, East Rankin, and the easy one to end the year on the 30th, they take on MRA. That is how do I put it? That is 4 steps up in the football schedule for Park Lane.
Well, you mentioned Dunham and Parkview, and they're coming out, big schools coming out of Baton Rouge, powerful football schools. So, yeah, they'll have to play every Friday night. I didn't hear any gimmies on there.
Not many there. What do you think, Richard?
like Neil said, when you start off with going down to Gulf Shores to play one of the best, I'd say one of the best teams in Alabama, big school, playing two of the top schools in Louisiana, along with the regular Mississippi schedule, which of the ones you named, I'm like, listening, like, well, that'll be a tussle. But where Coach Rushing has taken the Pioneers in the last couple of years, hey, whoever they're playing is going to have to play the Pioneers. So if you enjoy it at that time of the year, buy your tickets, because I think there'll be a lot of good football played.
It'll be Drew Brees being installed in the NFL Hall of Fame this year. Surprised that the Saints didn't get put in the Hall of Fame game?
Oh, I don't know, Robbie. I don't know what's in it.
It was talk early that's what was going to happen.
Well, I could see where that'd be a good move based on the Saints fans, but NFL has priorities, I don't know what they are, especially after the Super Bowl.
Just trying to spread the wealth. They want to try to keep everybody happy, and they make nobody happy for the most part.
Spreading joy. Yes.
High school basketball pretty well over now for Mississippi and for our area. The Lloyd Star girls and Brookhaven girls defeated in the semifinals of the state tournament. Brookhaven goes to overtime before they lose in that one. Good showing for both Lloyd Star and Brookhaven girls as they make it to the Coliseum. Congratulations to them. And I tell you what, the city of Pittsburgh is having a Mississippi reunion, aren't they, between Connor Griffin and his, 3 home runs during the spring?
Yeah, and of course the Pirates in the trade got Jake Mangum.
Right, the mayor.
So it's saw an interview on MLB TV last night with Connor Griffin, and I mean it was impressive to listen to a young man. It's, I guess, still 19, maybe just turned 20 years old. And me and we were talking about it at the game Tuesday night about they're discussing whether he'll be on the opening day roster. You're Pittsburgh. How could you not have him on the opening day roster with Paul Skeens pitching? That'd be one of the best tickets they've had for sale in a while in Pittsburgh for the excitement it'd be. But Connor Griffin's he's gonna be okay.
Yeah, I saw some of that interview, and he's very poised, very, very mature for his age. And I heard him say he had put on about 20 pounds and had been working out, and he was the number 1 choice, was he not?
Right. First round draft.
Yeah, exactly.
And we lose another legend in college football this week. Lou Holtz passes away. Your thoughts, Neil?
Well, he was a unique individual and obviously a very good coach and a great PR man for college football. And I never shall forget, and y'all may have to correct me on this, he was coaching at Arkansas, I believe, and suspended 2 or 3 of his best players and went to the Orange Bowl and beat the hell out of Oklahoma.
Yeah, it sure did.
And, of course, he's well known for his tenure at Notre Dame.
Well, just a legend, from the time that I was just starting to like college football and get into it. Lou Holtz was coaching. Yeah. And to follow him, but some of my favorite memories of watching him and Mark May on ESPN get into their judicial back and forth with certain questions and stuff. It was priceless to see his knowledge of certain things, but football legend, and we definitely will be missed for sure.
89 years old. Yep. Is that what I saw?
That's it. We'll come back. Speaking of legends, we got one to start with. Man at Wyatt, Georgia 0, chasing foul balls. Welcome back, Chasing Foul Balls, Friday morning edition here on SuperTalk Pike County 93.5. Don't forget, if you want to keep up with what's happening in sports, go to Facebook and join us at Chasing Foul Balls. We try all week long to keep you up with what's going on in sports. And speaking of keeping with you up to date with sports, on the phone, the legend himself, Mr. Matt Wyatt. How are you, sir?
Robbie, I'm doing really well as far as I know. Last I checked. I'm glad to hear your voice.
Let's see. You got radio host, football color analyst, and now photography. Now, how did you get into photography?
Well, that's a good question. I think part of it is, by necessity here lately. Looking for every revenue stream I can scrounge up, But the other thing is, it's always been an interest for me. I always kind of had the artistic thing going on. And back in college, all those hundreds of years ago, I was in the sports communication major, so I was in the communication department, and I had a photography class under a guy named Gerald Berry. People used to go to games at State and stuff around, Mr. Berry. He passed away a few years ago. They knew him as Garcia Berry because he had kind of the look of one of the Grateful Dead, and he taught me. He taught me photography. We developed our own film. We did our own prints. They had an enlarger, and it absolutely sparked an interest for me. That was probably my sophomore or junior year of college. You're talking about 97 or 98. So I've dabbled in it in lots of different ways for years, but then just working for myself over the last almost 10 years, it just really took off into something there was a little bit of a demand, and I enjoyed doing it, and one thing led to another. So I'm talking to you live from my photography studio downtown Tupelo on the second floor above the Reed's Department Store gift shop. How about that?
I tell you what, when you're big time, you're big time. What you're trying to tell me is a daughter requires a revenue stream.
That's exactly. There's a man with experience right
Two
there.
of them, yes.
Knows what this is all about, buddy. I'm the work mule, and I accept my role.
Let's get started with sports in Mississippi. Last Tuesday night, Mississippi State travels to Hattiesburg for the baseball game. The excitement, everything first class. Is baseball now become the second sport in Mississippi outdoing basketball?
I think it definitely is this year for sure. And, it might be a different conversation if you talked about it overall, but I don't know. I think if we're being honest, our basketball programs would love to draw the consistent attendance that our baseball programs do. Agree?
I agree.
And so from a support standpoint, the truth about it is, Robbie, from a support standpoint, the state of Mississippi is quite literally second to none. Nobody in the country supports college baseball like the people in Mississippi. Now, you could say per capita, and then it's not even close. But even take away the per capita, you're not going to find a state that's packing out 3 D1 stadiums the way we do in Mississippi. So, yeah, I think it is. And boy, the way basketball season looked this year, I sure am glad baseball started.
You couldn't get here. I would say it's starting baseball in February is a little early, but it couldn't get here early enough, could it?
That's right. No doubt. Hey, and I tell you, Coach Polk famously would always, use the phrase, well, that's baseball, when crazy stuff would happen, And so I'm bragging on Southern Miss. I told everybody on my radio show Tuesday before that game, I said, listen, y'all, I'm telling you, Southern Miss has had good teams. This may be the best one, period. And they can absolutely win the whole thing. So then they go and they beat 8. And I'm bragging on them again. I was telling our listeners, they've got a shot to win the whole thing. And then they score 2 measly runs and lose to Nichols on Wednesday night. And the only thing I could say yesterday was, well, that's baseball.
That's baseball.
That's the smartest thing I said.
That's when Nichols uses their number 1 pitcher and Southern Miss uses their number 5, and that's what happens.
Yeah.
Let's go to NIL for Mississippi. The legislature making the great move to exempt NIL money from Mississippi taxes. Here we go. You can't get away from it. You can't get away from it, can you?
I can. I came on your show because I didn't think you'd ask me about all that.
You knew I was. You knew I was.
Hey, but check this out, Robbie. Now, maybe this is far fetched.
All right.
But if they're going to eliminate the state tax specifically for college athletes, NIL money, all right, I might argue that everything I've ever made was NIL effectively. Okay, since college for the last going on 30 years, and then all I've got to do is find a good lawyer and sue somebody and get a good chunk of that, as back taxes, right? I mean, come on.
Good luck.
What are we doing?
Good luck.
Well, I'm laughing about it because I would never do it because, I might not live long enough to see it come to culmination. But here's the thing about it.
That money stream would help.
Yeah, here's my thing. I understand the predicament that the coaches and the ADs are in. They've got states that are telling kids, we don't have state tax in Tennessee or Florida or whatever, and Mississippi does, and let's pay that, and we're talking about recruiting. I get it. What I said on my show this week, and I stand by this, you can't justify doing that morally. You can't look everybody else in the state and say, you have to pay state taxes, but these little darlings at State and Ole Miss don't have to. You just can't justify it morally. Now, if you want to justify it some other way, go ahead. Go ahead and justify it. But you cannot justify it morally, and that's the way I feel about it.
Matt, Neil Randall, and staying on that subject for a second, and what made it look even worse was when our legislature so far has decided not to give teachers a raise.
Yeah.
That made it really bad. But I'd like to get your take on a quote that I saw that was not attributed to you, but to Thomas Edison. And opportunity is missed by most people if it is dressed in overalls and looks like work.
That's it. That's a great one.
I don't know where you found that, but I thought that was fantastic. And we have Richard here, who normally comes to the studio in overalls. So I thought that
in overalls.
Yes, sir.
Look, I admire that. I really do.
Not in them today, though, Matt. Not in them today.
He's not working today.
Yeah, well,
okay.
Wouldn't say that, but
you have to really succeed in life to get to a point where you can wear overalls every day,
Amen.
7 days a week.
Amen.
So we're still trying to get there. I'll tell you this. I used to be a flat belly athlete. I was happy for people to see me with my shirt off. Now I'm getting to where I'm thinking, as opposed to having this belt that is getting tighter and tighter, if I had overalls, I wouldn't need a belt. I've been thinking more and more about overalls lately as I get older and put on weight.
You telling me you're not playing shirts and skins anymore?
No. Nobody wants no, I'm bald on top of that. Nobody picks a bald guy to be on their pickup basketball team either, Robbie.
I understand. They don't pick fat guys either.
Well, Matt, this is Richard. Hey, just a shout out for overalls. They are the most comfortable piece of clothing there is. They have straps as things proceed. You can let the straps out. You can tighten them up. They're unlimited amount of pockets. And Neil and Robbie might be figuring out what they're going to get for Christmas this year. So anyway,
I would look good in overalls. I want to tell you.
Man, I tell you, they make everybody look good. So anyway,
I agree.
Let's get away from the politics and let's talk football. It is somewhat related to NIL and the portal and that sort of thing. Is all we talked about last year from a standpoint of football was our offensive line. Well, give us your assessment of how we came through the NIL portal deal with, I don't know that we got anybody we can really hang our hat on, but you're the football expert here, so you tell me what your thoughts are.
Yeah, Richard, and I will qualify what I say about it with this. The whole constant turnover and portal and all stuff the last few years has sort of trained me. I pay much closer attention to who's on the roster when we get closer to the season because you never know when it's going to change. Sometimes you can go to spring practice and work like crazy to get to know them and study them, and then as soon as spring's over, 2 or 3 of them leave. And they're already, around the country, you hear them talk about, hey, heads up, but you're going to see what we call blind transfers, which is you're going to see players after spring and in a non-transfer portal window season are going to go ahead and transfer anyway, basically saying, look, all I got to do is threaten a lawsuit and it'll never stand. You see what I mean? So, I know it's a very cynical qualification of my opinion on it, but that's just a reality. Now, to state, yeah, sure they could have done better. I think there were maybe some targets out there that you wanted to get in to pour up your offensive line that went elsewhere. Then I read that some guy you did bring in is not going to be eligible. So it's pretty critical. I know that when your whole team is going to be built around an uber talented quarterback. You better play good football up front. And here's the reality of it, Richard. It sounds like a kind of an old school take and looking at it from 30,000 feet, but it's 100% true. If you are good on the offensive and defensive lines and average everywhere else, you'll win a bunch of games. But if you can be great in your skill positions, but if you're average or worse on the line of scrimmage, you're going to get beat. You'll look good at times with great quarterbacks and receivers, but if you're average on the line of scrimmage, you will lose. So if you want to win, you've got to build a team from the inside out on the line of scrimmage. So is it a concern? I would say yeah. And I bet you, in the past, I'll go to practice and I'll be the only one that walks down there and watches the linemen go through their drills. I bet that'll be different this year, and everybody will be watching them.
Matt, this is Neil. Let's switch gears just a second and jump back over to the baseball diamond. No doubt, high expectations for Mississippi State baseball, as always. Brand new coach in Brian O'Connor. How has he reacted to the, how should I say this, the way things are done at Mississippi State and the SEC?
Yeah, it seems to be going well, and I tell you, to me, it sort of passes the eye test. He seems like a real fit. I just love the way he kind of goes about it. I went to one of their preseason early, big scrimmages, and I walked away from it impressed with how fundamentally sound they were and how, even though they're a big-time program with a lot of highly paid athletes, they are not foregoing the details. He was coaching that team from a fundamental standpoint, little things and detail standpoint, communication, the way, a good high school coach does on his first day with a bunch of sophomores and juniors out there. He was not overlooking the details. And then on the other hand, too, he's pretty hard-nosed and old school. In the first week or so, they had a couple of young guys who, they had, I don't know if the balls went out of the yard or not, but a couple of times where a guy hits the ball and then he stands there and looks at it, wants to showboat a little bit. And after the game, his quote was, "We're just not going to tolerate that in our program." And I thought, hallelujah, give me more of that, because when you get a bunch of really good ball players together, the way it falls apart is when you relax on all the little things. He's got the discipline and the little things, he knows what he's doing, so I think he's a real good fit.
As much as I hate to, I'm going to go back to another quote. The fact that we've had to quote Matt Wyatt twice in this interview, we're in trouble. You said that college football is not recruiting high school players anymore. You're letting them go to D2 and then bringing them back in 3 or 4 years later where they can play 4 more years at a university. You want to get into that?
Yeah, sure. I was reading some quotes from college coaches saying that, the environment means they can't really justify, for their own hide, they can't really justify recruiting high schools the way they used to. And so you start reading the tea leaves. I know that you've had even some guys who challenged in court the JUCO eligibility stuff. Pavia at Vanderbilt was one of them trying to get a judge to say that his JUCO years didn't count against his eligibility, and that one failed. But all you got to get is one case and one judge somewhere to open that thing up, and what you're going to see. And I just think it's coming. It's just a matter of time. Maybe within a year or two, we're going to see a real trend across the country of high school players. They're not going to be recruited by bigger schools. They are going to sign with Division III, Division II. They're going to go to JUCO. They're going to lift and play and develop for 2 to 3 years. They'll be 20 or 21 years old when they then transfer to a Power 4. And because of these court cases, they will still have 4 or 5 years of eligibility. That's kind of what's going to develop. You don't, it's like, has it for sure happened yet? No, but it's going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I think that's the trend you'll see, is there will be kids who go, okay, this makes total sense. I can go to JUCO for 2 years. I can go even someplace like a D3 or D2 for 3 years. I'll come out 21 years old, an inch taller, 40 pounds heavier, grown. And then because of what these courts are doing, I'll still have 4 or 5 years to play somewhere if they want me. And that's what's developing, and I think that's the direction it's going.
Matt, Richard, hey, once again, we talked about every major sport. Let's talk about basketball and from a men's standpoint. I guess I watch it because I'm a diehard, I'm an alum and all that stuff, but I just, it's hard for me to watch, and we had such a good, it was a good portal class and all that transfer stuff, but I guess the question is with all this going on, how do you gel? How do you get the personalities right, and who wants to be this and who wants to be that? We know who the leader of our team is, Josh Hubbard, but just at times watching on TV, it's just like nobody else is in sync with nothing.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I watched like the first couple of games of the year back in the fall, and I kind of rolled my eyes and thought to myself, even though I'm not as keen a basketball eye as others, I thought to myself, yeah, this is going to be ugly before it's over with. You could see it then. And I think, to the guts of your question, how do you, figure out the gelling and putting the team together and discipline and hard-nosed stuff when you're doing the portal thing? And I think, I don't know what the answer is. I don't think they know. I think it's like walking up to that dice table and just rolling them dice and see what they say. It's kind of where they are. Now, I'm sure that I could argue that there are some programs that are going to spend so much that, they got a better chance to out-talent some people and that kind of thing. My thing is, how do you coach them? I don't know how you coach them. Coach Jans has always been somebody who, you watch one of his practices, it is no walk in the park. And that is even compared to some other guys at that level. And, if you bring people in that you get some really high character guys who they take to it and love it, and then you have a great team. And then one year you may get some that aren't, who, as long as on the 1st and the 15th the deposit hits, they don't care, So I hate to sound flippant and cynical and all that. I think the reality of where we are, though, is that if you're going to live with building a new team every year, sometimes it's going to be good, sometimes it's going to be really bad.
Well, Matt, have a great summer, and we'll talk to you again once we kick off that oblong ball. How's that?
That sounds good. Thank you, boys. Have a good one.
See you later, Matt. Matt Wyatt joined us this morning. We'll come back to the head basketball coach of Southwest Mississippi Community College, Corey Schmidt, next. Welcome back, Chasing Foul Balls. Glad to be with you on this Wednesday morning. That's for sure. Thanks to Matt Wyatt for joining us. Neil, Matt, always a hoot. He always got something to say. Usually gets us in trouble, but he usually has something to say.
We did a pretty good job of that by ourselves.
Oh, yeah, we don't need much help, do we? Join us, the head basketball coach of the men at Southwest Mississippi Community College, Coach Corey Schmidt. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Playoffs tomorrow afternoon, a rare Saturday afternoon basketball game for the Bears.
Yes, sir. I was talking to Benji in one of my post games earlier in the year, and I was like, get to year 4 and I try to do a smarter job of scheduling, try to never schedule a home Saturday game, just so we keep it during the week. It helps with our students and it helps with the community most of the time as well. And then here we get to the playoffs and we get one, but it doesn't matter what day it is. If you can't get excited and get up for a playoff basketball game, you're in the wrong thing.
Northeast comes to town tomorrow afternoon at 2:00 over to Bear House. You played Northeast earlier, so it ought to be a good matchup, 2-point game.
Yes, sir. We went up to their place, middle of the conference there, and played a really hard-fought game. It was a really well-played game both ways, honestly. We missed 13 free throws, which if you look at the stat line, a lot of things were really even. That was the one thing that stood out. They missed 4, we missed 13, and we lose by 2. And so we missed a 3 at the buzzer that would have won it, and then a tip in right after that would have tied it, and the game was over. So it was a really good game, and I think we're pretty evenly matched teams, and it's going to come down to the wire like most playoff games do.
Let me add to that, free admission.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow for the basketball game, so no reason not to come out to the playoff game between the Bears and Northeast. One question, how do you get the tips on all your recruiting? You have kids from Massachusetts, Bahamas, Congo, even Towertown. How do you get tips on all these kids to get them to Southwest Mississippi Community College?
Well, in-state, usually we have a really good barometer of the best players in the state. Everybody kind of knows everybody, and we're all fighting for the same kids, and it's just going to come down to who can build the best relationship with the kids, who has the best pitch, the best opportunity for them. But out of state, like you're mentioning, that all comes down to relationships. We didn't go down to the Bahamas to find Leon O'Roll. We didn't fly over to the Congo to find Andre Ngumabi. It's all about relationships. For instance, Andre Ngumabi played in prep school in Florida, and he played the last 2 years for our assistant coach. So we hired Coach Nick Cloris from Victory Rock Prep down in Florida. He had Andre with him, who's from originally, had just came over 2 years prior from Democratic Republic of the Congo, and he had some Division I schools that were interested in him, but not quite ready to pull the trigger, and so he was still kind of open. And Coach Nick said, "This is be a good guy for a good fit," so we bring him here. And then Leon O'Roll played in AAU in Florida with the Adidas program down in Florida, and Coach Nick has a really good relationship with that AAU coach. And so, he reached out, said, he's looking for, once he saw Coach Nick got a JUCO job, he's looking for, he was at a JUCO previously over in Arizona. And he said he's looking to transfer to a different JUCO. Text Coach Nick, and Coach Nick's like, "What do we think about this kid?" I'm like, "Well, he's pretty athletic. Let's do a little bit more research." It's things like that. It's all connections. It's all relationships. We're not flying and driving all over the place watching thousands of AAU tournaments and different things. We'll watch some, but the vast majority of the time it's relationships, and you're going based off film.
Coach Schmidt, we really enjoyed the game the other night, 87-86. Great game, great crowd, great enthusiasm. Your team played about as well as they could, I thought. I'm guessing that the leader of your team is number 5.
Yes, sir.
And one of the guys sitting up there with us in the old folks spot, Bobby Nelson, calls him the money man.
The money man. That's
We're
good.
talking about Corterius Scott.
Yes, sir. He is the money man. He's having an incredible year with the game-winning shot against Jones. So with whatever it was, 8, 9, 10 seconds to go, when that shot went in, that gave him 1,001 points for his career in junior college. He started his career at Colin and transferred over here. And He's having an incredible year for us, averaging right about 19 points a game, shooting 42% from three. He's an incredible player.
Coach, the young man from I forget where he's from with the long name, Andre
Ngomabi. Yeah.
I can't say that.
He's the one from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Yes, sir.
But now, correct me if I'm wrong. He didn't play in the last game
against Jones.
Yeah.
He played Chidi Nwosu from Massachusetts.
Okay, I knew one of the big guys didn't play, but
come on, Neil, get those names right.
Oh, I can't say any of them. But
Chidi Nwosu, our kid from Massachusetts, he did not play in the last game.
Well, is everybody going to be healthy for Saturday?
Yes, sir. We'll be full go on Saturday.
And, of course, still on the injury thing, you lost Jalen Halliburton early.
Correct.
And I'm assuming he's done for the year.
Yep, still out.
And he was a darn good player.
Yep, averaging almost 11 points a game for us, but he'll still be out the whole playoffs.
What do you know about Northeast? I mean, you played them once.
So they're really athletic and a physical, aggressive team. The way they play is very tenacious style of basketball, both on offense and defense. They really attack you at the rim. They've got a couple guys that can shoot, but the vast majority of their guys are guys that want to get the ball to the rim, inside the paint. They're good on the offensive glass. They pressure the basketball. They, are aggressive defensively. It's just it's a aggressive style of basketball on both sides of the floor. I wouldn't say that we're not aggressive, but there's levels and there's different degrees of it, and I think we try to play a little bit more solid and disciplined, and so it's going to be a good battle of wills here.
But the main advantage I think you're going to have tomorrow afternoon at 2:00 over here at the basketball center is they will be the ones that have to make the long trip.
Correct. When we went up there to Northeast, that's almost a 5-hour drive up there.
Almost to Nashville.
Yeah, it is. My dad, actually, I was born and raised in Nashville. My dad still lives in Nashville. He drove down for the game. It only took him like 2.5 hours or whatever. He said he could make that trip every time. But so we I think they're actually coming down today, day before, since it's early afternoon tip. But it's a haul up there to those schools up in the north, particularly Northeast and Itawamba.
Well, speaking of how you got there, you came to Southwest from Wake Forest. How did you find out about the Southwest opening, and what led you to come to Southwest Community College?
So Coach Bender and I had developed a little bit of a relationship through a couple different ways. First, through a network called Rising Coaches.
Right.
And so we kind of met each other through that and got to know each other just a little bit. Wouldn't say like we were great friends or stayed in touch a lot, but then I was at the University of New Orleans for 4 years before I went to Wake Forest, and we actually scrimmaged at Southwest against Alcorn State when I was at the University of New Orleans, and Coach Bender was the head coach. He was gracious enough to let us use the gym as like a halfway meeting point for us in Alcorn, and when we did that, I kind of reignited that relationship in a sense and got to renew that relationship and talk to him a little bit more, and then we stayed in touch. He had an assistant coach opening, and that point up into my career, I hadn't been able to be a full-time assistant coach. Now they've changed the rule. You can have 6 assistant coaches on staff. And you just call everybody an assistant coach. Well, when I was coming up, there was only 3 assistant coaches, and if you were the 4th one, now you'd be called assistant coach. Back then, you had all these other titles and director of operations, video, player personnel, all this stuff, and so I hadn't been an assistant coach yet, and the opportunity to be an assistant coach and potentially maybe a head coach very soon. I thought that was very enticing, and so took Coach Bender up on the offer to come here as an assistant, and it's worked out. It was great working for him for 2 years, and grateful that they gave me the opportunity to take over when he left.
You averaged as a team 78 points a game, but the number that really caught my eye was that you're averaging 39.4 rebounds a game.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big number.
Yeah. For us, one of the biggest things we try to do since I've been here is be bigger. We're like, if you look at our starting lineup, we start Corteri Scott, who we mentioned earlier, 6 foot. Everybody else is over 6'5". Cy Merritt 6'5", Leano Rolls 6'7", Chidi Nwosu 6'9", and then Andre Ngomabi 6'10". And so for us, like being bigger and having size is a huge asset for us, and that helps us on both the offensive and defensive boards. It helps us with defensive, other teams' field goal percentage, being able to block shots and contest shots. We're top. I think we're like 12th or 13th in the country in block shots. That size and length really helps us, particularly on the boards, like you mentioned.
Coach Schmidt, I don't mean to be premature with this, and I certainly don't want to jinx you, but after you beat Northeast Saturday, what's next?
So I'm not very superstitious, so you're not going to jinx us. You got the people that wear the same socks and the same all that. I mean, if that's what it takes, then we just might not get it done. I'm not a very superstitious person myself, but so just to speak on the next thing, so Itawamba's the 1 seed, we're the 2 seed. So after we win Saturday, if Itawamba wins, then the Final Four will be hosted at Itawamba. The semifinal is Tuesday. The championship game is Thursday. The alternative option is if after we win Saturday, Itawamba loses on Saturday, then we would host the Final Four. The Final Four is hosted by the highest remaining seed in the tournament after the quarterfinals. So if we win, Itawamba loses, we're hosting the entire Final Four next Tuesday and next Thursday.
Well, we'll be pulling hard for you and hard against Itawamba.
Southern Shreveport plays Itawamba on Saturday around 4 o'clock.
But I'm not superstitious a whole lot, but the last time that Southwest won the state tournament, which is now the region tournament, was at Itawamba.
Yes.
So we got 2 things going on. We play at home or
playing at Itawamba.
We'll
Correct.
take either one.
We talked about that earlier. Once Itawamba clinched a week or so ago, our staff talked about that same thing. So
that was a wild trip that weekend up there for sure.
Yeah.
Well, what are you having to split your time now between coaching and recruiting, or have you got the recruiting part taken care of?
Well, high school state tournament's been this week. We've been up there a couple days. Last night, a couple of our staff went to live scout the Kahoma Northeast game. We've been down to see a couple kids in person that have been eliminated already. You're definitely doing both at all times. It's really throughout the whole year. At this point in the year, you get to a point like today, we're going to be pretty locked in on game plan and prep. And then tonight we'll go back up to the big house for the Moore State Tournament game. One of our signees, Devin Moore, plays for Germantown High School. They play for the state championship tonight. And so we've got a couple in-state signees already, but we're looking for a couple more. And so the recruiting never stops. And so you're always wearing both hats.
So you'll be recruiting when you toss it up next year, won't you?
Correct.
Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock, go with the Southwest Basketball Center, Southwest and the Northeast. A chance to advance to the region finals and semifinals and finals. I hope we have a great crowd tomorrow.
And free admission. Please tell your friends, family, bring whoever you can. We'd love to have you.
And if it's free, it's for me.
Awesome.
Coach, congratulations on the great year. And we sure appreciate you stopping by us.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you having me.
Coach, Corey Schmidt, the head basketball coach at Southwest. 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon over at the Southwest Basketball Center. Make sure you get by and watch some great community college basketball. If you hadn't been there this year, I think there's no doubt about it, you will be definitely surprised at the quality deal that you're going to see in community college basketball.
Lots of talent on the floor, and I'm sure most of them will be moving on to bigger and better things next year.
Well, Mr. Randall, that'll just about wrap us up for another week of Chasing Foul Balls. If you're looking for a bank that feels like home, First Bank is here for you. 14 locations across southern Mississippi. We're your local bank for checking, savings, loans, and more. Whether you're buying a home, starting a business, or you just need everyday banking made easy, First Bank. They're ready to help. Stop by your nearest branch or visit firstbankms.com today. First Bank, where customers and community matter. most member FDIC equal housing lender. And remember, next week, one of our guests will be the new head football coach at Delta State, Davis Dean.
David Dean he's won several national championships, I think, maybe at Valdosta and somewhere else, Rob.
Stay with us. We'll be back next Friday on Chasing Foul Balls. We appreciate it.
Don't turn out the lights, the party ain't over. The band just started to play my favorite song. I found my baby and I wanna get a chance to hold her. So don't turn out the lights, the party ain't over. Everybody's really having fun, so shake it loose and let it come undone. There's only one thing that I wanna do, and that's to dance the night away with you. I've been working hard all week long, and I'm not ready to be going home. Turn up the music, keep the lights down low. I know it's late, but I don't wanna go. Don't turn out the lights, the party ain't over. Well, the band just started to play my favorite song. I just found my baby and I wanna get a chance to hold her. So don't turn out the lights, the party ain't over. Everybody's looking for romance. I just want a little time to dance. And tomorrow we can sleep all day. Before the night we'll let the music play. Remember how it used to be. I love the way that you dance with me. Rocking and rolling till the clock unwinds. And then we holler out one more time. Don't turn out the lights, the party ain't over. Well, the band just started to play my favorite song. I just found my baby and I wanna get a chance to hold her. So don't turn out the lights, the party ain't over. I said don't turn out the lights, don't turn out those lights. Don't turn out the lights, the party ain't over.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.